Hi, Ram, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Module 6, Communication, Personal and Organizational. These are pre-conference materials that we would like to share with you to reflect on before the conference. So in the SCI organization, there are many things that we use communication for, and in life. So in the organization, what are the goals of communication? We have to communicate information. It's used for collaboration, for consensus building, to coordinate with each other, to organize certain events, programs, but it's, beyond the general organizational day-to-day activities, it's also used for inspiration when we are communicating about Swami's teachings, when we are sharing experiences, when we are trying to inspire each other for our own love of Swami and his message and our spiritual growth. And so in the organization, what's so important, and Swami talks about this in many discourses, is how we communicate, because that is one expression of how we relate to each other. And communication can either make or break the organization. It can bring unity or it can bring differences. It can elevate our spiritual growth or it can halt our spiritual growth. So what does Swami say about communication? Number one, in order to promote harmony, the first rule you must follow is control of the tongue. Do not give all your thoughts immediate expression. Select, ponder, and then speak out. Speak softly, sweetly, without malice in your heart. Speak as if you are addressing the Sai who resides in everyone. So Swami tells us that really our tongue is so powerful. It can be used to soothe people, inspire people, love people. It can also create a lot of hurt and guilt and disharmony. So it can be used as a weapon, but it also can be used as a gift. So Swami also says, speak softly so that the only person for whom your words are intended may hear you. Such soft and sweet speech should be developed. Good vision, good listening, and good speech lead to good thoughts. As your thoughts, so is the result. Right thoughts lead to right action. Without good thoughts, it is not possible to perform good actions. So this is a quote from Swami, and Swami talks very much about the process of having good communication. It needs to start from the thoughts. If we are thinking one thing and saying another, it is going to be reflected in our body language, even if the words are correct, but the energy, the body language, the feeling that is behind it will be altered if the thoughts are not incongruent with the words in the speech. So Swami talks about us to have alignment with thought, word, and deed. So good communication starts with our good thinking, with thoughts of love, thoughts of kindness, thoughts of empathy, thoughts of understanding. When we have those thoughts, then we are able to have good communication. And we are able to bring the energy of that love and kindness. Swami also talks in this quote about good listening. In order to be we know this from many, from Swami, as well as many organizations dealing on communication and leadership. In order to be a good leader, we must be a good listener. We have to listen to the people, listen to our fellow devotees, listen to what's happening so we can really understand what are the needs of our membership, what are the needs of the activities of the organization. And when we listen, we are able to have understanding and empathy, and furthermore then have appropriate communication and consensus building. Swami also talks about how to deal with differences. To whoever you speak, speak sweetly, not with hatred, not with anger and jealousy. First, you have to learn this. You cannot always oblige, but you can always speak obligingly. Speak with love. Baba. So Swami says, doesn't mean we always have to agree with someone. We just have to speak lovingly and obligingly. We can understand and acknowledge their position. We can understand and share our position. We don't have to oblige, but we can speak lovingly and kindly that we understand and we honor them. So speaking respectfully and loving at all times will take us far. We also have to be aware of that sometimes ego and paternalistic attitude that comes sometimes in leadership, sometimes as we are talking to the younger generation. And in order to inspire them, we want to bring them on board and listen to them and letting go of any ego or any feelings that we know better. Swami talks about silence in communication. And this is very important because when we are silent, we are also listening. We're able to listen and hear and observe more. So what does Swami say? Silence is the only language of the realized. Practice moderation in speech. That will help you in many ways. It will develop prema, for most misunderstandings and factions arise out of carelessly spoken words. When the foot slips, the wound can be healed. But when the tongue slips, the wound it causes in the heart of another will fester for life. The tongue is liable to 4 big errors: uttering falsehood, scandalizing, finding faults with each other's, and excessive speech. All these have to be avoided if there is to be Shanti for the individual as well as for society. Swami. So Swami tells us silence, if we can use silence to our advantage, it controls the thoughts, it controls the tongue, and it allows us to listen and be empathetic towards others. So in closing this module, I am going to ask you to think about a few questions. As this was the breakout sessions before, but ignore that first line. As office bearers, what are the challenges and pitfalls that lead to poor communication? What are the consequences when that happens? What can we do differently in our roles to have better outcomes? Number 2, as practitioners of Swami's teachings, how can we manifest our own divinity and understand the divinity in others while communicating with others? And number 3, what are the 3 things that you can commit to implementing for improving communication? If we are able to think of a few things that we can commit to in our day-to-day practice in our life, but also in our community, at work, and in the organization, that will train us, whether it be starting to practice silence, whether it be speaking lovingly, softly, kindly, whether that be being aware of our thoughts before we speak. These are things that Swami has shown that can help us with loving communication in our individual world, as well as the world in the community and the Sai organization.